Welcome to Off the Coast, where we examine the views from Vancouver Island with your host, Rosemarie Barnes. New and exciting things, preserved and respected things, business, recreation, politics, travel, all from the point of view of the people living and working on the island. Rosemarie is a professional speaker and certified speaking coach living in historic Ladysmith and loving every day of the island life. Here is your Vancouver Island host, Rosemarie.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the very first ever airing of Off the Coast, Views from Vancouver Island. I'm your host, Rosemarie Barnes, the maverick voice at Confident Stages. Off the Coast is a show about Vancouver Island, everything that happens to her, about her, for her, its people, its business, and everything that makes this wonderful island such a phenomenal place to live. Today, my guest is Mr. Kim Smythe. Mr. Smythe is the president and CEO of the Greater Nanaimo Chamber of Commerce. He originally hails from Edmonton, Alberta, which is my hometown as well. And after dabbling in media jobs, he began his career as a government public relations officer. Sensing that the private sector was a better fit, he went off to work in the world of Mad Men and spent some years at advertising agencies. He joined the developers of West Edmonton Mall, you know, that mall, as their director of advertising. The West Coast called in the mid-'80s, and Kim moved to Vancouver, working as a consultant to several blue-chip corporations. In the early 90s, he crossed the pond to Nanaimo to raise his family and start a new business, now called West Coast Communications and Events. His clients have included the city and the province and many notable Nanaimo businesses. He's proud to have won several awards, both for his marketing efforts on behalf of clients and for his events such as the Vancouver Island International Children's Festival. Now he joins the Chamber as CEO, where he can demonstrate the same kind of effort on behalf of the Nanaimo business community. And I am so happy to have you on the show, Kim.
Thank you very much, Rosemarie.
So, Kim, we're going to be talking today primarily about a brand new creation of yours called the Dine About Nanaimo promotion. Could you let us in, please? What's that all about?
People may be more familiar with the brand Dine Around, which has been a staple in Victoria for a number of years and is also seen in Kelowna and in Vancouver. Basically, it's a very simple promotion. We have invited restaurants in the area to participate in the event by paying a small fee to be included as part of a larger promotion, which is trying to get people out and into restaurants during a traditionally quiet time of the year for them. So we've asked them to establish fixed price menus at a price point of $25, $35, or $45, and then we help promote that out into the community via traditional mainstream advertising methods, as well as a significant amount of social media traffic and some point of purchase marketing materials as well. We're kicking this off on. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
We're kicking this off on February 19th. Runs for 3 weeks. So just after Valentine's Day, we provide another good reason for people to get out and try some restaurants.
This has never been done in Nanaimo before.
No, it hasn't been. It's been talked about a number of times, and there's been a couple of previous efforts to get it off the ground, but looks like we're going to be the first to be successful at doing that.
That's wonderful. Whose baby is this?
Well, it's we did a lot of R&D, and by R&D I mean rob and duplicate. So
it's wonderful.
Having lived in Vancouver for a number of years and participated there, and also having visited it in Victoria, when I started here about 3 years ago, I noticed there were some notes in my predecessor's file about something like this. I was excited to see that there was some discussion happening, but I found out that the discussion was very, very minor. It was very superficial. And so last fall, and planning what I wanted to do for 2016, I thought, what a great idea is to create this and see if we can get some uptake from the restaurants. And so we put together the promotional package. I went out and started talking to some restaurants. We formed a partnership with the British Columbia Restaurant and Food Service Association, first of all. And then between the two of us, with our partnership, went out to see restaurants. And to our delight, yesterday we had an orientation party for those who have signed on, and we have 25 restaurants from Qualicum Beach down to Nanaimo.
Isn't that fabulous? 25 different ways, different times you could go out and sample what Nanaimo has to offer.
Exactly.
That's
I think
amazing.
it's going to be very exciting. We're now posting all of the menus to a Facebook page that we've created called dineaboutmidisland.ca. And so it's really nice to see that not the Facebook page, rather, but the website now become populated with the menus, the fixed price menus, as well as the regular restaurant menus, photos of their food. It's very exciting. We're really, really stoked that we got it off the ground.
That it must be your taste buds must be watering waiting for the 19th. So what kinds of restaurants are included? Have chosen to include themselves?
Well, we go as far north as Qualicum Beach, and we have the Seaview Restaurant and the Qualicum Beach Inn up there. Coming back a little further south, we've got the Beach Club Inn. I think the restaurant there is called Prime. We have in the Noose a restaurant called Smoke and Water.
So are these restaurants all fine dining experiences? Are they more casual family restaurants? Is it a mix of everything? Do you have fast food restaurants in there? What sort of restaurants do these qualify as?
We don't have any fast food restaurants because the minimum is a $25 3-course meal. So obviously,
right, okay.
Fast food's going to be out of the picture right away. But we
right.
do have a great diversity of restaurants. It's not all fine dining, and it's something as small as Coco's Cafe in Cedar is participating. New York Style Pizza is participating. Two Chefs in downtown Nanaimo is participating.
And that's a good one.
Restaurant that's not open in the evening, so they're doing their special at the lunch hour. All the rest of them are evening dining.
No. So anything that you could imagine, wherever you are, with whomever you may be, and whatever your palate is craving, there's a place that's going to fill the bill for this.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's
so what kind of
exciting
menus?
to have this variety.
Oh, this must be just a great feather in the cap of the chamber to have pulled this off. So what kind of menus and whatnot? Because I'm getting hungry here. So tell me, what can we eat?
Never mind, you're getting hungry. My staff member who's in charge of putting these all on the website comes to me about once every 2 hours saying, "Can we go eat now? Can we go eat now? Can we go eat now?" Because she has to post all the photos and all of the menus and all of the special menus as well. So all day long, all she's getting to do is read about all this great food that's being served.
You're allowed to say who she is.
Renee Bohan is our special
Renee.
event.
Oh, Renee. Oh, I'm sorry, Renee.
Yeah.
So what kind of things is she drooling over?
I'm just trying to pull up a menu really quickly here for you so that I can give you something fresh.
The afternoon type menus are probably delicious soups and salads and so if it's 3-course at a lunchtime, I would imagine that's the kind of thing we're going after.
Well, these are primarily evening.
Oh, okay, good.
Evening.
Okay.
So here's one that I can tell you about. It's at Smoke and Water, which is up in Parksville at Pacific Shores Resort. It's a beautiful restaurant. The starter is at your choice of a bruschetta or a misto di mare, which is fried calamari prawns and scallops with bacon aioli and citrus spring salad. The main event is a choice of buttermilk fried chicken or scallop, shrimp, and tuna puttanesca. And for dessert,
Ooh.
you've got a choice of banana beignets or chocolate lava cake.
Oh my gosh.
So
And this one goes
that's
for how much?
smoking butter. And that would be, I believe that's on a $25 menu.
Hey, not bad at all.
Hmm.
So then add a glass of wine for yourself and you're
Hmm.
out of there at a really reasonable price
Absolutely.
with a full tummy and a smile on your face.
No doubt. And it's a beautiful restaurant. It's located right on the water at Pacific Shores Resort. So you've got the benefit also of the, beautiful atmosphere within the restaurant and the stunning environment, natural environment outside of the restaurant with the towering trees and the crashing waves. And it's a beautiful spot.
Jeepers, I should have gotten Pacific Shores to take out an ad on this show. Wonderful. It sounds too good to be true. I mean, it really does sound great. So this is the first time that this sort of thing has been tried in Nanaimo. Has anything else like it ever been tried?
Not to my knowledge. I've never seen anything where the restaurants were all organized like this at one time doing one thing.
Okay.
And they're pretty
But
excited. We had our little orientation yesterday in here for them, and everyone to the person was absolutely thrilled that they're participating in this.
so for the businesses, of course, it's a way to get traffic in the door and get people oohing and eyeing over their spectacular food at a reasonable price. And of course, hopefully they will be coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Definitely.
that's to them, that's worth the price of admission, as it were.
Let's hope so. Yes, let's hope that this
Yes.
all works according to plan. I'm quite confident in it because everybody who I've spoken to about the promotion gets pretty excited about it.
Oh, that is good news for our island.
Yes.
It would be a very good thing to have this during tourist season, wouldn't it?
Well, I think that the thinking on this, the strategy has always been to fill in that blank time between Valentine's Day and Easter, when sort of the weather sort of promotes the restaurants coming back and doing better.
Hmm.
I think that there could be a variation that you could do on this for the tourist season. Yes.
Well, just as a thought, I mean, it seems a shame to have all of these very fine restaurants not being as well known for our visitors to the island as they might be.
Hmm.
Uh, it just seems, why wouldn't they want to jump at this? Unless, of course, they get enough traffic over our very busy tourist time.
Does anybody
Anyway,
ever get
without,
enough traffic?
yeah, well, yeah, that's the point. I'm not sure anyone ever gets enough traffic, do they?
Exactly.
Yes. So you said that it had been tried in Vancouver and Victoria. I take it must have been very successful there.
It has been very successful in Victoria. This year, I believe they've got 70 restaurants in their promotion. Victoria adds another component of theirs. It's called Dine Around and Stay in Town.
Oh.
So they promote the tourism piece of it as well. Tourism Victoria is the dominant partner in that one down there. We looked into doing that as well here, but thought for our first year out, let's not make it too much for us to bite off. Let's try to get the food part of it right first.
You know,
I
that's
think we've
so
done that.
that's very wise. You know, I wish I could learn that lesson from me. You know, I I tend to dive into the deep end and then check to see how deep the water is or whether there's
Yeah.
sharks. So I am glad to see that our chamber is in better hands than would be in mine. So, Kim, let's talk about you for just a second. How did you come to be uh, the chamber? I mean, what a prestigious position to be the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. You've got a background that just according to your introduction, that it was like a preparation for this particular job. Are you enjoying your time there?
I'm enjoying it almost too much.
Uh
uh,
oh.
yeah, it's a thrilling position. When you said it sounds like your background was your training specifically for this job, and it really feels that way. When I was offered the position, I turned it down immediately because I said I had no idea what the Chamber CEO's job is. I was a lowly board member, had just joined the board, and a couple of months later, the current CEO notified the board that she was going to resign and take a position with the university here. So I volunteered to join the executive search committee, and we started that process off. I thought it was going well, and one morning very early I got a call from our board chair at the time exclaiming that he had figured out a solution to our CEO search challenges and that we were going to disband the committee. And I said, well, that's good news, I suppose. What's the solution? He said, because I found a CEO. And I went, well, who would that be? And he said, you.
Oh,
But
hello.
I'm not applying for the job. I have a business, and I have clients, and I have active contracts, and so that's not going to be possible. And I don't think I'm that interested, but I look forward to continuing to help to find the right person. So over the course of a few days, he got most of everybody I know in town to get behind him and push me towards a corner.
They railroaded you.
Pretty much so. In the end, what I agreed to do was, because I had active clients and because I had contracts that I was in the middle of executing, I said, what I will do is I'll take this on as a project management contract. I'll work for 90 days, 3 days a week, and then I'll be happy. That will give our committee sufficient time to seek out the perfect CEO who can sit in this job. And so they accepted that, and they said, of course, if you have a change of mind in the next little while, let us know, and we'll see about welcoming you into the position permanently. And I said, well, it's not going to happen. And the only thing that didn't happen is I never worked 3 days a week. The 90 days has turned into 3 years, and I'm loving it. It's turned out to be a really good fit, I feel.
So are you managing to juggle your own business and CEO?
Not at all.
I was going to
Not
say,
at
what are
all.
you, Superman? Do we
No.
have aliens here on Earth in the form of Kim Smythe?
I've been able to do very, very little. In the first year, I managed to stick handle a couple of projects, and I had some project partners, so I leaned on them quite heavily. And the second year, I was able to do absolutely nothing outside of this job, and it was quite funny because staff came to me in December of this year and said, "Are you going to renew your chamber membership?" And about the same time, I'd received my business license renewal from the city of Nanaimo. And I looked at the two of them and said, who am I trying to fool here? I haven't even attended. I haven't sat at my desk in my own office at my company for about a year. So to pay for a membership and to pay for a business license and to go through this charade like I kind of have this other business, it just didn't make sense anymore. So in December of 2015, I officially closed down that business.
Wow. That must have been a big step.
It was. It felt like a big step, too.
Yes.
It took about a day to really hit me, and I went, gee, that's the end of that one.
Oh, dear. Well, and all good things must come to an end. I loved your reference to stick handling a few projects, being as we both come from oiler country.
That's right.
You were born and raised in Edmonton?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, me
I lived
too.
a couple of years in Calgary, but other than 2 years in high school that I was in Calgary, the rest of my years were in Edmonton.
Yeah, compared to Edmonton, Vancouver Island really is a little piece of paradise, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Not saying anything bad about Edmonton. I mean, it's my hometown, but you don't have to shovel rain.
That's right. There's always going to be a place in my heart for Edmonton. I go back every year or every second year, spend time with my friends there who have become my family over time.
Mm-hmm.
We really, really enjoy it, but Vancouver Island is definitely home.
Very definitely, very definitely. So now that I've meandered us past the shiny squirrel that grabs my attention every now and again. Uh, back to the Dine About. How are you going to know if this project is a success?
I think we'll hear it loud and clear from our participants. They let me
From
know
the
yesterday that they will be giving me feedback on a regular basis
Okay.
from the participating restaurants. So they'll tell us if their traffic is up. They'll tell us if people are coming through the door and saying, "Hey, tell me about Dine About. I hear you're part of it."
And then of course the idea for the restaurants is that the continued increase in traffic is going to continue. Is there a way to measure that, or are they on their own for that one?
I think they're on their own for that one, and I think that will be anecdotal.
Hmm.
I don't think we're going to get any database of information back that's that we'll be sure to be able to count on.
Hmm.
But we're going to keep in close touch with all of them. That's very important to us. And as well, we're going to be going out individually, as chamber folk, and going to these restaurants during Dine About and checking them out and taste testing them, and then having words with the proprietors and with the staff there to say, how's it going? Are you getting pickup on this Dine About thing?
Hmm. Well, it would be wonderful to have it be a success because, of course, this is planned to be not just this year,
That's right.
right? And bigger, better for the years to come after you fine tune it a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's very exciting to be increasing evening traffic in our fine cities. The celebration of Nanaimo's culinary culture is a huge thing. It seems to me that in Nanaimo, we eat a lot. We have a lot of things surrounding food in Nanaimo, not to mention, of course, worldwide, Nanaimo bars dictate where they come from. But can you tell me a little bit about what celebration of Nanaimo's culinary culture is?
So that's the branding statement that we created for an event called Feastable. We launched Feastable last year in September. Currently planning for year number 2, moving it up to June now. Feastable was sort of a comprehensive look, feel, and taste of what we do with both beverages and food here. Feastable featured a food truck festival, a farmer's market, a celebrity chef, cooking demonstrations, family cooking lessons for children right up to seniors, a seafood chowder competition, a sipping sampling section, and a full-on trade show of everything to do with food, how it's served, how it's processed, how it's
Wow.
produced. And
Where did you have?
We held this at the Vancouver Island Conference Center.
Oh, what a great facility that is.
It's fantastic, and it's the only thing that would work for us, and we truly love the Vancouver Island Conference Center. We do a lot of events there. Half of our luncheons every year are held there. So they're really community partners of ours. And the facility served us very well for Feastable. We were expecting maybe 500 people out for our first year, and we got 1,400, which of course was very encouraging to move forward and do a bigger, better Feastable in 2016.
Is Feastable another Chamber of Commerce idea?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So has that been around a while, or is that a new beat as well?
Brand new last September.
Okay, so this is Kim Smythe has an absolute obsession with food.
And I think so, unfortunately.
So this Feastival last year was the first one, and it was held in September.
Yes.
So why the switch to June for this year?
In September, we have quite a bit of competition from people who focus their food festivals on harvest. The Cowichan Food and Wine Tour being a big piece of that. And we found that it was difficult to attract wineries, especially because so many of them are located in Cowichan Valley. But September is harvest time for them, and it's the Cowichan Food and Wine Tour, which is a spectacular 10-day event that really occupies all the time that the foodie types, the producers and processors and distributors, and the wineries, breweries, cideries. And we just felt like if we move to a springtime event, we're not going to miss any food, but we're not going to be competing with well-established events that already take place during that time of the year. There's another large event that happens in September up in Comox, so we couldn't get the Comox Valley producers to participate with us. I think the switch to June will help a lot.
Oh, and you must already have people signed up to participate in it.
Oh, yeah, we had participants from last September sign up the day of that event to be in the next one. They didn't care when it was. They just wanted to be in the next one.
Oh, that just says it to you right there. When the people that are participating in it are eager and anxious to not miss the spot to be able to do it again, then the next year, that sort of speaks volumes about the success of it, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and we had mentioned some of our plans for expansion this year, which got people even more excited because we're going to add another component to Feastival to make it a 2-day event. The previous Feastival is held on a Saturday, so on the Friday we're going to hold an industry and government event and invite all of those who are involved in government in manufacture, production, distribution, processing of food as to Nanaimo for the Friday afternoon to meet with industry types like the Milk Marketing Board, the egg people, the cheese people, all of these types. So we'll have another event on a Friday afternoon, and then Friday night we're going to launch the first ever craft brew, small batch local winery, and artisan spirit event.
Ooh, so now, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're having a businessman's afternoon conference followed by local artisan beer and wine and whatnot. And this sounds to me like a party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people on the island when I moved here, it struck me that I have no idea of the demographics or the numbers. I'm just pulling these out of my hat. But it seems to me that we absolutely must have more entrepreneurs per capita than any other place in the world. We seem to be so solo and entrepreneur driven here. And so how wonderful is it that these are the people who are encouraged about participating in these festivals and festivals that the Chamber of Commerce is creating. And now we're bringing in businessmen from all manner of places to learn what we do here, and that's incredible to me.
Yeah, we are stepping forward as an entrepreneurial focused city for sure. I think it was the Canadian Federation of Independent Business produced a report just in the last couple of months, and it was an annual report that they do on the state of entrepreneurialism in Canada. And Nanaimo had risen from around the 140th most entrepreneur-friendly city in Canada to the 47th or something. It's a huge jump in 1 year, and we certainly see it here from the perspective of the Chamber of Commerce. We get probably 50% of our new members are entrepreneurs. What we're also seeing, because we work so closely with Vancouver Island University, is we have a fantastic international MBA program up there. And
yes, we do.
Students would come here from all over the world in past years, and when you'd ask them, what do you want to do when you finish your program, they would say, I'd love to get a job in Nanaimo. Very, very interestingly, in the last 2 years, what we've seen is a lot of them say, I'd like to start a business in Nanaimo.
There it is.
There it is. Because we don't have a lot of corporate head offices here. We don't have a lot of opportunity for somebody who's coming out with their MBA in finance or something like that. So now we've got guys coming out saying, yeah, I'm going to start a business with my MBA, and I'm going to partner up with two of my friends that I met at Vancouver Island University from different countries of the world, and we're going to, invent a new widget to do this, or invent software, or develop something.
Right.
It's very refreshing to see.
I don't know whether you're aware that I'm also a certified teacher, and I was fortunate enough to be offering a few sessions at VIU, Vancouver Island University, and so had the opportunity to rub shoulders with a lot of our international students. Now, VIU, of course, is not just for international students. It's for our own. It's for Canadian students as well, but
Mm-hmm.
because of the VIU High School as well, that brings students in from all over the world. It is so wonderful to hear how extraordinary they feel our community is.
Yes.
And it is so heartwarming that these people that come from all over the world feel welcome here, that
Mm-hmm.
that their ideas are welcome, that they feel able to try and stretch and to learn, and then and they feel they'll be successful in this community. I think that speaks an incredibly well to the people that live here.
Yes, I do too, and I think we need to be very proud of our community and for the way that we've responded to these students from all over the world. And it always takes somebody from outside to say, "Hey, you guys are doing okay,"
Yes,
and I think that's what these folks are saying.
yes, yes. It's you go down the street and people don't look down at their feet as they're passing by. They make an effort to say hello
Mm-hmm.
and nice day, or do you feel like a duck yet? But it is a huge sense of community in Nanaimo. And I don't know. Do you think it's like that everywhere on Vancouver Island, or is Nanaimo special?
I'd like to think that it's like that everywhere on Vancouver Island.
Hmm. I hope so.
Although we are a little bit more special than the rest, though.
Well, of course, that goes without saying that where you are would be special, Kim. So I know about another interesting tidbit that I think perhaps the world would like to know about, and that's this concept of the DNBIA. Do you want to talk to the Downtown Business Improvement Association?
Sure, I'd love to. It's a subject that's close to my heart. I had my business downtown for a number of years. I was a member of the DNBIA, and I was also a member of the Old City Quarter Association, which is an adjunct organization. I've also worked closely with the board of the DNBIA to help them secure their last management contract renewal for downtown, which we were successful at. I think that the work that they do is fantastic. We have, every city has a business improvement association. We are one of the only ones in British Columbia to have a municipal office that matches the funds that are produced through the levy of the members. So they have a little greater advantage to do work, and there's a very good reason for that. Back in 2008, the city conducted a study of what it would take to create and to sustain a thriving downtown economy, and they realized that there was a significant amount of work that needed to be initiated, and then a lot of work that had to be done into perpetuity to support the initial investments in downtown. This report also identified the fact that because this was necessary work, it would be obvious that the city proper would be taking that on. However, if there was an organization that was outside of the city proper, outside of municipal workers that could do this work, it would be much more efficient than municipality taking it on. So that's when the proposal was made for the BIA to take on the work to initiate improvements downtown, and then to sustain and manage those over the years coming in the future. And that's what's happened. And I think they've just done a brilliant job. They've really made the dollars work. They're basically working with 50-cent dollars down there, with the 50% of funding being matched funding from the city. So that's been very good for them. And they're able to do promotions. They're and beyond just doing promotions for seasonal things, they're able to undertake major initiatives such as revitalizing Terminal Nichols Street. Starting that, they have a planning, design, and development committee that helps builders and developers meet the community's desires and needs downtown. So the work that they do goes far beyond advertising Christmas sales and having family promotions at Halloween and Easter time.
Right, and this speaks to this is a direct connection to how Nanaimo itself is a really welcoming community, not only for Joe Q public, but also for businesses, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's very important. You have to have that support system in place for businesses. That's a good part of what the NBIA does. It's a big part of what the Chamber does, and it's a portion also of what the Economic Development Corporation does. And retention of businesses by making them feel welcome, by helping them out with issues that are over and above their ability. We do a lot of advocacy and lobbying with local, provincial, and federal government to make sure that business has the best chance to succeed here in this community.
Yes. So the downtown businesses have a definite body taking care of their needs, wishes, wants, and business requirements. What about the rest of Nanaimo? Where do they go for their support network in business?
Right,
do they talk to you, to the Chamber? Yes. And so with the Chamber has monthly meetings, of course, but they also have other ways for businesses to get acquainted with each other. Could you tell us a little bit about those?
We do a lot of networking events. We do our monthly membership luncheon, of course, which is a pretty robust networking event. I know you attend most often, but that 45 minutes, half hour to 45 minutes before we sit down and start the official part of the luncheon is so hyperactive, with people meeting and greeting and exchanging cards and exchanging ideas and catching up with each other. It's really interesting to watch that take place. We also do a business before business once a month, where a local business will host, around breakfast time, will host other Chamber members to show off their business and to provide a venue for people to meet, greet, talk, network, and find out what's new with everybody. We also do a business after business once a month, and that again is hosted by a Chamber member. Same idea, but it's held in the afternoon, where there might be adult beverages served, as opposed to the morning, where you get a coffee or a tea and a muffin and fruit, and you're on your way.
What? No wine with breakfast, Kim?
I haven't been to one yet.
I mean, we're in the middle of wine country here.
That's right. You'd think somebody would have a little champagne and orange juice going one time.
Well, yeah, they call those mimosas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some mimosa for business before business. Write that down. Okay, but then for its day-to-day operations, what does the Chamber of Commerce do when you're not doing networking? And what do you do at the Chamber of Commerce? Let's let everybody know what work you accomplish there.
Government advocacy is a huge portion of what we do, and it's something that's not easily seen all the time.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, municipally, we're one-on-one with City Hall, with both council and with staff, working on all manners of things. Last year, I spent a good deal of time helping write new food truck policy and bylaws governing food trucks in Nanaimo.
Yes, I'm dying to hear about that.
It was fairly well-known fact that Nanaimo and food trucks were not. There wasn't a good relationship going on there. You go to Duncan or Comox or Victoria, Vancouver, and you see the food trucks that are operating there, and it's a great thing. It's a very popular activity these days is street eats. And in Nanaimo, the regulations had been layered on over the years, which essentially blocked food trucks from operating in Nanaimo. We noticed this. We went to City Hall and said, there's got to be a way that we can find to make it work so that there's not a significant major negative impact on brick and mortar restaurants, so that these businesses can operate safely, hygienically, and so that we can bolster that piece of the food economy. And it took us a good 8-10 months, but we persevered and we got through to the end. And last December, I think it was, Council finally passed new bylaws permitting food trucks, and so we're going to see how that rolls out this spring, and then we'll revisit it again in the fall, determine if it was a success or failure, and tweak the legislation if we need to, and go back. So that was a pretty good example of how we handle something from scratch, from the idea where I said, I think we need to do something about this, making a couple of well-placed phone calls to City Hall, and then getting some ideas, some political support for the idea of change, and then some internal bureaucratic support for that change.
Right.
And then contributing the effort. We did a tremendous amount of research all over North America about how other municipalities handle this. I did some hands-on research, which meant, of all torturous things, I had to attend food truck festivals in North Vancouver and Richmond and Victoria.
You had to do that. You had to do that research. I know. You poor thing.
Yes, feel sorry for me.
I do. Yeah.
But we brought a lot of really, really good information to the table of the both the negatives and positives of the food truck industry. But it was a very interesting experiment for me, having to do that research and go through. And the realization that I took to council was it was only in 2010, just 5 years ago, that Vancouver licensed its first food trucks. They licensed 17 food trucks in 2010. Today,
really?
There's over 300, and they contribute to a $30 million local economic impact.
Why is it that in your opinion, and I have my own opinions, of course, why is it that we seem to accept change just a little bit slower here on the island than on the mainland?
I don't know. I can't answer that question, and if I could, then I could figure out how to change it, because I think we need to be a little quicker with the uptake here. And it seems Mid-Island is always dragging a little bit behind others, One of the reasons I stood out and got the Feastable thing going last fall was because these things happen in Victoria, Duncan, and Comox, but Comox Valley, but they're not happening here. We seem to be left behind in that whole food revolution, locavore thinking and all of that. Mm-hmm. So I've actually been pushing on this for a few years. I created a food component around the Harvest Festival that I started on Wesley Street about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I integrated that to the Multicultural Festival as well. And, that really helped the local farmers markets get going, because it helped the local farmers figure out how that there were opportunities to connect to the consumers, one-on-one, as it were, and also connect with local restaurants and promote the use of locally produced foods in restaurants. And it's very popular in other centers.
Well, it is. It's huge. It's huge. You don't go to, consider, coming from Edmonton, of course, about the huge festival in the park, Heritage Days. Yes. And it's completely food trucks. Yes. It's massive food trucks. And to think that here on the island, we're still fighting for them to be legal. There is such a thing. I love Vancouver Island, but we really do have a little bit of island time, for good and for bad. It's very nice that Vancouver Island is a place that you can, you don't have to be racing against the clock from morning till night. But at the same time, we do seem to have a little bit more trouble adapting to change.
That's
And
very true.
and from a business point of view, that could be a little bit of a tragedy.
Yes, you can miss
From a
some
personal point
opportunities
of
that way.
view, yeah, from a personal relaxation vacation point of view, it's absolutely wonderful. But from a business point of view, if you're trying to be innovative and you're trying to bring in the new, that could be a little bit frustrating for businesses.
I think so too. It was one of the hardest adjustments for me to make, moving from downtown Vancouver to downtown Nanaimo, and wondering where everybody was. I remember one of my first experiences running my boutique ad agency in downtown Nanaimo. I called up a local printer and said, I've got a client who needs this job printed, looking for a quotation, and blah, 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 blah. And he said, okay, thanks for the information. I'll get back to you. In Vancouver, I would have had 3 people at my door in under an hour offering to buy me lunch while we discussed the job that they would hope that they would get.
Yes.
2 days later, I phoned the printer and said, are you okay? He said, why? I said, haven't heard a word from you since I sent you that request for a quote. He said, well, that was just 2 days ago. Are you serious?
Yes.
I'm kind of
Yes.
hoping to have this job printed in the next 5 or 6 days. And he
Yeah,
went, well, that's
yes,
not going to
thank you.
happen here.
When I asked you for it, I needed it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I was
Yes.
just accustomed to dealing, having things dealt with that way. So it was
Yes.
a little bit strange, and at the same token, I would be turning things around in a week that people wouldn't have expected to see for 3 weeks. So
Yes.
it took me a good deal of time, and I finally calmed down and changed my inner clock to island time.
So my question then, Kim, is should we be slowing down our clocks, or should the island be speeding up theirs?
I hate to say it, but I think the island should be speeding up theirs.
Yeah, yeah.
But from a
Uh,
personal point of view, I'd like to slow it down just the same.
yes, it's such a dichotomy, isn't it?
It is.
We come to the island because it is Vancouver Island, because it's peaceful and it's beautiful and it's serene, and we do have a little bit more of a laid back attitude. But Vancouver Island's cities and metropolitan areas are growing like crazy. And they're growing because people from the rest of the world have discovered what an incredible place this is. And I fear I fear for the old guard that is determined to keep things at island time. And I'm worried that we're going to be headed for a little revolution.
Well, I think it's going to be more evolutionary than revolutionary.
Oh, good.
When I see these students coming out of VIU and who have moved here from, Berlin or Beijing or Brisbane or, somewhere in Saudi Arabia, they're bringing components of their culture and what their impressions are and what they're accustomed to doing. But I see that they begin to slow a little bit after a year, but they're not losing their edge yet. There's one young man from Istanbul I do quite a bit of work with from the university, and he still seems to work at Istanbul speed, which is just high pressure, big city, fast
Yeah.
paced, do it thing.
Mach
And I don't think
2
this
hair
guy-
on fire.
Yeah, I don't think Omar's ever going to slow down, no matter what environment he's in. But he's a get-her-done guy,
Yeah.
and I don't think he'll ever lose that.
It's going to be an interesting situation to watch, to see whether maybe we come out at a happy medium.
I think that might be it. We do come out of the happy medium. I think that the entrepreneurs who are moving here, the startup, especially startup tech companies, especially others like that, I think we're going to arrive in the middle someplace. And as some of the traditional employment starts to diminish as many of us age out of the workforce, and new younger people start to step in and take over, I think we'll see a little bit of a shift into a higher gear.
Well, and it's going to be interesting to see exactly what uh, areas begin to evolve as the most vital for the area.
Yes.
Traditionally, we've been wine, and we've been logging, and we've been shipping, and we've been that sort of industry. And it's going to be very curious to see what become our main industries of the future. Do you have any ideas where we might be going?
I think we're entering into a new phase in Nanaimo and the Mid-Island, into a knowledge-based economy that is more oriented to technology, information, education, health sciences, those kinds of things. It's interesting. In my first decade here, when people would say, well, what is your economy all about? And they'd say, well, we're pretty much a resource-based economy. And I go, yeah, you're struggling with that one, I can tell. When thousands of people used to be employed at Harmac, when, hundreds of fishing boats used to moor here, that kind of thing. And when, the assembly wharves downtown where the Port Authority is, used to be covered in acres and acres and acres of lumber just waiting to be shipped out. That doesn't exist any longer. In the second decade that I was here, people used to refer to it as, we used to be a resource-based economy. We're not sure where we're going.
Yes.
And now I'm just into, starting my third decade here, and people are very clear where we're going.
Yes.
Our largest employers are Island Health, Vancouver Island University, and School District 68. They account for over half of the employment in this community. So I think that we've had something like 200 plus new tech startups in the past 2 years opening up in Nanaimo.
Yes.
So I think the indications are very clear where we're going here, and I think it's a very, very good place to go. We have the lifestyle that people are attracted to. We've got a quality of living that's hard to beat anywhere in British Columbia.
Yes.
Fantastic climate. I mean, you can buy an ocean view home for under $400,000. Where can you do that?
Well, and compare that to our neighbor, Vancouver, where you can't get a home. I mean, you're hard pressed to find a home for under $1 million.
That's
and
very true.
Here, I mean, truly, this island is really a paradise in so many ways. Except that in order to get a job, you have to start your own business. But
that's the only problem. Or if you're fortunate enough you can telecommute. If we had a dependable foot passenger ferry, you could be commuting on that. I mean, there's opportunities in the future that are going to open up for us.
Yes,
sure.
And there's that foot passenger ferry raising its head again.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many pros and cons to the idea, but it seems to be picking up speed on the pro side.
Yeah, most definitely. There is a company who are ready and waiting now to launch that service. So we'll have to see how things pan out for them.
So is that a combination effort between the major cities on Vancouver Island, or is that a particular city that's driving that?
That's us that's driving. It's Nanaimo that's driving it.
That's what I thought. See, didn't you love that segue I gave you there, Kim?
That's a great one.
Yes. So
we're looking forward. We're supporting a group, a proponent right now, who's been working for a number of years to secure the funding and get all the pieces in place to make a foot passenger ferry service between downtown Nanaimo and downtown Vancouver work.
And so how can people help? What do you need to have done? Where do you need people to step up and help you with this? What businesses do you need? What can everyone do who's on the side of getting a foot passenger ferry going? What can we do?
We need political support at the local level to make sure that they can facilitate this. That we don't need to tax this operation or set up a few structures that are unfriendly to the operation. That we're there to be supportive. And I was talking to somebody last week, and they said, "Where's the best place for government in all this?" And I said, "The best place in government is to stand aside. Governments don't create jobs. Governments generally don't positively impact the economy. It's businesses that make all that happen. It's businesses that create employment. They just need government to stay out of the way where possible, provide support and facilitation wherever possible.
And isn't that the idea of a democratic government anyway?
Yeah, it is. It's the free
Oh,
enterprise.
oh, good. Let's go back and talk to the Greeks about this. So so we've covered in Nanaimo that we've got some really great food that is going to be featured in many, many, many ways. The latest one to come up, of course, is the inaugural Dine About Nanaimo promotion that's coming up starting February the 19th and going for 3 weeks, right?
Correct.
Correct. And to find out information on that, just go to the Chamber of Commerce website, right?
Or make it even simpler, you can go to our website, nanaimochamber.bc.ca, or you can go to the dineaboutmidisland.ca website. You can access that through the Chamber website or go directly to the dineaboutmidisland.ca one.
And there's going to be all manner of menu to please whatever palate you've got to satiate there. And so let me see. We've covered what it is. We've covered that we've got over 25 restaurants participating, that the menus range from fine dining to a little bit more casual, and that we've got prices at $25, $35, and $45 for 3-course meals, right?
Correct.
And that it's been tried elsewhere, has been a huge success. This is Nanaimo's first step into this pond, and we're all looking forward to it being a great success. The restaurants are happy. The patrons are going to be happy. What could go wrong?
Nothing will go wrong. It's all a great thing. I want to make sure to remind people to add on that bit of BC VQA wine or craft brew from our island and make that meal super enjoyable. And, of course, don't drink and drive.
Of course.
But, one of the 3 main components of our food strategy for the year is Dine About, Festivals number 2, and Food Truck Festival April 2nd, which people can find out about on our Chamber website.
Oh, the Food Truck Festival. We didn't cover that very well. Tell me quickly about the Food Truck Festival April 2nd. Where is it going to be? How many participants are coming up? Tell us, is there entertainment? Tell us about it.
There will be entertainment. It's downtown at Diana Krall Plaza, April 2nd. Exact times TBA, but it will be obviously midday. We don't know the number of participants yet. We're just starting the invitation process on that one, but it also ties into a couple of other events that are going on downtown that day. That is the Symphony's Community Support Day, and that is also Pirate Festival, which is a relatively new event in Nanaimo. So we're combining forces with the Symphony and our downtown
and the Pirates,
our DNBAA, and April 2nd. And, of course, there's no admission. You just come down and enjoy the great street eats.
Sounds absolutely phenomenal. Kim, do you want to take time for a 30-second plug for whatever it is you'd like to plug about Nanaimo?
Well, I'd certainly like to plug the Chamber of Commerce. The fact that we have close to 800 members, always looking for more members. The more members we have, the louder our voice is when we speak, and that's very, very important for people to get people to listen to us, especially those in government, where we can speak on your behalf and raise a much louder voice than you can individually.
And we do that. As Kim has mentioned, I am a member. My company is a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and the networking opportunities are brilliant. The people are friendly. They are welcome. We welcome you to do business with each other and promote our fine, fair city. Kim, it has been a great honor to have you on my very first show. Thank you for participating so beautifully, and we will talk to you again next time.
Thanks for allowing me to be the first, Rosemary. I really appreciate this.
Okay, Kim. So there was the very first show of Off the Coast, Views from Vancouver Island, and we were listening to a conversation between myself and Mr. Kim Smythe, the CEO and president of the Nanaimo Chamber of Commerce, welcoming the inaugural Dine About Nanaimo promotion that's coming up. Nanaimo has a lot to do with delicious, wonderful food coming up. Please make sure that you come into our wonderful island and specifically to Nanaimo to enjoy the remarkable edibles. Rosemarie Barnes, the Maverick Voice at Confident Stages. You can reach me on my website at www.confidentstages.com.
Thank you for listening to Off the Coast, Views from Vancouver Island, with host Rosemarie Barnes. To book Rosemarie as a speaker or speaking coach, or to offer suggestions of extraordinary guests for the show, please visit her website at www.confidentstages.com.